Hello, friends. I am sending you a little video postcard here on a Saturday, November 12th. Um, this is in dedication to those of you who are engaged in the Sophia Lineage project, as well as connected to the Star House in Boulder or other ways of outreach that come through the channel of David and Lila. I've been in Boulder these last days since the election, pretty much by myself. David's been in California teaching. And I've been tracking all my internal changes and perspectives, and because I've been pretty much alone, I feel like I wanted to share them because the place that we are right now, many of us, is still a bit in shock and still has enormous potential. So briefly, because I've been doing a lot of quiet time and reflection and reading, perhaps there's something that might be of use. And for my international friends to get the perspective of some of what it feels like right now to be in this country. I've read quite a few articles and found many perspectives of value, and I wanted to reduce it down to three that represent kind of the story, and then the political, social perspective, and then the bigger perspective kind of held by my friend up here in the mural of really how to create an overview. For me in the story, it's been a lot of the the pain and the shock and the awakening to the results of this election that were so inaccurately predicted by many media outlets, and also accurately by some, like Michael Moore. And kind of waking up into the moment of realizing, wow, the world has really changed, and now what? Garrison Keillor, in his fabulous way of capturing kind of the folk soul of this country, basically had a few perspectives that I valued in addressing my physical story, and he said, well, one way of looking at it is now the right wing and the Republicans in power are going to have to be the ones to kind of work this through, because they are holding the House and the Senate and the executive branch. And some of the liberals and progressives might just take the time to read Jane Austen, plant heirloom tomatoes, smell the roses. So I found a kind of soothing personal response to that, and have gone out for some walks and found myself lying on the ground and harvesting some of my heirloom tomatoes that are still kind of warmly basking in Colorado sunshine here in November. But obviously in a way that's kind of not enough for those of us who are also really passionate about what's going on and what our response to it is. Naomi Klein's work, largely in Canada, though she's international in many ways. Naomi has supported an effort in Canada that's very encouraging, called the LEAP Manifesto. Recommend the reading of that and the identification of support for Indigenous peoples and for the livingness that is the earth, and also for an encounter with what is really going on in these political, social spheres. She really names in one of her articles that one of the reasons that the election turned out the way it did is because there hasn't been an understanding by kind of the neoliberals of some of the pain that is existing in the country and in the basically we might call it Middle America, but it's all over America, similar to the outcome of Brexit. I happened to be in London when that happened this summer, and that was a similar kind of feeling, the realization that the elite are really out of touch with the power of the voting populace, whose needs are not being met. So that we need to kind of take a look at why those voices aren't being heard. Then moving out from the story to the political social, actually to a deeper perspective, a wider perspective of our spiritual beliefs, whatever they may be for you, wherever you go for comfort and to rest in the arms or the wings of the sacred. From that perspective, I feel this inquiry coming through me of, who do I want to be now in this circumstance and in this story? How do I want to show up? Not for myself and not as just my person, but actually as a stream, which for me has always been dedicated to the divine feminine, to reestablishing her presence in relation to sacred masculine energy. How do we come to grips with that in ourselves, in our relationships, and in relationship to the earth and to the political story we're now faced with? So sending you deep, deep love and regard, and may we continue to deepen through this time and to step up to the challenges that we're all facing now as a planet. This isn't just a national issue. It will have huge international impact. My favorite quote of Einstein, that no problem is ever solved at the level of consciousness at which it was created. We have to keep expanding out. We have to keep the inquiry open as to who do I want to be and in what story, and then hopefully be moving deliberately in and out of the most contracted to the most expansive, taking care of ourselves as needed, smelling those roses and harvesting and planting the seeds of the food that will nurture us, and also addressing the social political issues. I hope that you're taking care of yourself and considering your place in this ever unfolding mandala. Blessing.